SGC here, and we're back for comics time. We got all new Hawkeye number 4, a interesting, great issue in the sense where we learn more about Kate and her past, and now we have Clint sort of finding Kate again. And it's interesting how it connects to the last issue because of the whole old man Kate and Clint. I guess now it's going back to the present time where Clint looks for Kate to find these kids, sort of thing. It sort of feels like we've been here, done that sort of thing, but I mean, it's interesting for sure. Though I didn't really like the whole pop culture Furiosa thing. That was kind of like, I don't need that. I don't need to be connected. I mean, it's personal gripe, as in when they address pop culture here. But all in all, it's interesting character building, and just to know more about Kate, who we've been chilling out with for so long now, and to see what kind of background she came from is pretty interesting for sure. So yeah, I actually can't wait for the next issue. So AUTUMNLANDS number 9, interesting issue for sure this time around. We have our human hero who's actually trying to be a wizard. And again, I don't remember their names, but he's a Marine, and these sheep folks are trying to get to know him and understand where he's coming from. And our dog guy, is he trying to be a actual help to these sheep folk, or just trying to get money and food and all that? And lo and behold, we know what he's doing, but he's like justified. He self-justifies the reason why he's cheating out these sheep folk. I mean, interesting perspective for sure, and a change of pace too, because he's been very, I don't want to be in this world, but now this time around he had to act like he was part of this world, and he's a wizard and all that. As always, great art, great dialogue, interesting stuff, and cannot wait for the next issue. Black Science number 20, we are still on this lonesome road of figuring out where he needs to go. Grant just gets back to this world, and then it's like the original world that we left that started this huge thing, and some background building, and it was just Ward backstory was interesting, just to see where he was going and all that, and some action-packed sequences here and there. As always, art is amazing. I love it as usual. And now I really hope that he will see more of his family. And I guess like the last 3-4 issues, because I mean this is God World part 4 or 5, so maybe in part 5 when the arc is done he'll finally meet up with his people. And I really hope that it's not the ending of that arc, I mean where we see the people, rather the last issue we see people, he interacts with people, he saves people, blah blah blah, rather than the last page of this arc is he sees his kids. I'm thinking it's gonna be he sees his kids, but I could be wrong because I'm not a writer and all that. But anyway, cannot wait for the ending of this arc, so can't wait for the next issue. The Last Contract 2 of 4. Wow, we sort of get the kid's perspective and all of this, and he just doesn't want to be here. And the old guy's just like, dude, I gotta protect you or you're gonna die. And just figuring out what happened in the past with his family and his dad and just all that conspiracy stuff. And now they're getting chased. It's a pretty jam-packed issue. Definitely can see this as a movie. Hint, hint, people. I mean, Last Contract, old man, John Wick, like I said last time. So, could be a thing, could be a thing. I mean, 4 issues totally could be adapted into a huge movie or a short or a TV series. I would watch it because it's just great. I mean, imagine who would it be? Who would be the old guy? I don't know. Breaking Bad? Walter? Hey, that would be interesting for sure. Walter being a badass action flick guy, that would be interesting. But anyway, enjoy this issue. Different perspectives. Different sort of eye on what's happening, and then more world growth and all that stuff, and can't wait for the next issue. James Bond, number 4. Jam-pack, jam-pack. Action, action. What else is there to say? I mean, the art here is this great. It lends itself in a very sort of cinematic sort of action-packed sort of thing, and the conspiracy at the end, though, I mean, definitely it feels short on the whole story side of things, but there's a lot more showing than telling around. So I guess that's what happens when you have more action sequences than dialogue. And obviously, if this was muddled up with dialogue, it would not be James Bond. But overall, I don't really know how I feel about this entire series so far. I mean, it might end in a few issues for this arc. I don't know if I'll return, sort of thing. It's written by Ellis and all. I mean, I don't know. It's good on its own, but sort of it's not like amazing where I need to get James Bond sort of thing. So I'll probably stick around until something changes. Maybe Masters get off art or Ellis gets replaced or what have you. But maybe the next 2 issues, who knows? I'm just saying it now. Maybe it'll get amazingly better in the next issue, and I'll stick around. Who knows? Spider-Gwen number 5. We got a change of artists. Robbie Rodriguez is not here. We have Chris Visions. And it lends itself well. I mean, it's a whole perspective of what's his face, the commissioner, Gwen's dad. So it's different. So it's great. And now we got to deal with Matt Murdock and also the Punisher, and just what are they going to do now? And A lot of action sequences. It's a sort of stylistically similar Rodriguez's, but different enough, and I actually enjoy how the story perspective point of view has changed and not from Gwen. Like, Gwen's not even in this issue pretty much, so it was just a great chance for them to change up the artists and just to change things up. And we got Cap at the end and Osborn at the end as well, so it's a jam-packed issue. So overall, it was sort of like, oh no, Rodriguez is not an art, but hey, it was an actually good read. So can't wait for the next issue. Next up, we got Darth Vader number 16. A lot of sort of stuff is happening. We have this rebellion, and then we got some Sidious action. We got just people dealing with working with Darth Vader, and these weird guys who's just totally wants to prove themselves that they're better than Darth Vader. So there's a lot of things happening here. And at the end, we also get to sort of the precursor to what happened in Star Wars, when the prison beside the sun was hit, and obviously it sets an interesting perspective, because he totally says it's not of a matter for dead or alive if what's her face is alive or not. So interesting stuff, enjoyable, definitely change of pace, but different how they're working together now. That Vader down, everything actually linked up together. You got to read it in order, but now it's just, I don't know. You would probably read both. I don't know how people would feel if they just read Star Wars or just read Darth Vader. But anyway, can't wait for the next issue. Next up, all new Wolverine number 5. So we got Wasp guest starring. Last time we got Doc Strange. And again, this is pretty much a guest star. We have some action here and there. We learn more about the conspiracy behind everything, the army people and all that. And we get to know more of the relationship of the sisters and all that. And at the end, sadness. Next issue is going to be a rampage of all sorts. So it's going to be action-packed. So can't wait for the next issue. Though I sort of wish people stayed around a bit longer. But I don't know. I guess it's just me never reading story arcs that have people dropping in for one issue and then leaving. So it's just kind of like, oh, interesting. But overall, I'm here. Still here. Next up, we have Theyre Not Like Us, number 11. Wow. It seems like the last few issues has been a repetition of the party scene, but this issue brings it all together. And definitely would have read a lot better in a trade format, because it's just like month after month, you're just like, what's happening? And now this comes to a close, I guess. Now they're caught, and that brain sort of woman sort of totally screws up, and things are totally whack now. And that was a great issue. I loved the dialogue, the conversations they had, and just the realization of what's happening. And then Moon sort of comes out, and just it's gonna be interesting for sure. And the cops are happening. There's a lot of things happening now. So, interesting issue, definitely sets up for the upcoming ones, and it was a good closure and about that scene anyway. But then, again, trade probably would have read a lot better. But anyway, with all that said, I still can't, I can say now, I can't wait for the next issue. Descender number 10, a lot of things happening. We learn about the sister, the robot sister, I don't know, but Tim 21. There's more things happening overall, a lot of fronts now. We learn about sort of entertainment of Tim 21. And he's just scared and just associating with this other kid is different. Telsa, that's the name. And we get to learn more about her and the Newen guy. And then at the end, it's just like, oh gosh, that's crazy. What's going to happen next? I cannot wait, because it just sets a new sort of status quo, as in he's not all that safe and all that anymore. So yeah, cannot wait for the next issue. Next up, Old Man Logan number 2. Kelly does not like the art. I'm so sad. I enjoy it. This is stylistically different. Sure. I don't know. But I enjoyed it. It was a fight with Amadeus Cho Hulk. See it from the pants. I was going to think, like, what's going to happen then? I do wonder if anyone that doesn't read Totally Awesome Hulk would just find it weird. Like, oh, what the hell? Why is Hulk super, like, smart now? Interesting dynamics, and I love the actions. Action sequence was awesome, and it's going to be interesting to see how things are going to go when, Kate is here. Kate seems like she's going to be everywhere. I really love how the narrative sort of went there, as in he's just really scrambling to figure out what's going on with this new world, because clearly it's not what he thought it was. And overall, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, despite what Kelly said. Who cares? I enjoyed it. Cannot wait for the next issue. Weird World number 3, some crappy dialogue in the beginning. Is the whole, not crappy as in written, but just the way that, this character's so annoying and it's just frustrating. But overall, it was an interesting issue, just the group learning their dynamics, their ensemble cast, setting up to go to that monster's house or whatever you. But overall, it's been interesting. I love the art. It's great fun, different. It's sort of like the old Man Logan art. It's different. That's what I like about it. And crazy action sequences, huge scope and things, and I can't wait for the next issue because it looks pretty trippy. I mean, look at that. Look at that cover. It's trippy, trippy, trippy. So yeah, can't wait for the next issue. Next up, Guardians of the Galaxy number 5. Really did enjoy the narrative of this time. The whole like time lapse sort of thing, like the flashback and Kitty's telling it, and they're just saying she's not reliable. And it's interesting how they draw sort of Drax here. He's super like really chiseled, sort of smallish, rather than a huge person that I associate him with. And this guy gets owned on the cover, and I wonder what's going to happen. I really hope he doesn't come back in the next 4 issues or something, because that's what happened with the Hela woman, because she got owned, she came back up, got owned again. I hope it doesn't happen with this guy. And I don't really know where it's going to go after this, but it's going to be interesting stuff, as we have this sort of planning, brooding sort of thing happening in the back. And overall, I mean, the team's back now, so hopefully Adventure Time, who knows. But anyway, can't wait for the next issue. Next up, the Totally Awesome Hulk number 3. A lot of action, sort of finally talking about what happened to Hulk and stuff, and just Amadeus showing up and people not caring about him, and a lot of crazy action, and he gets, you know, captured. And yeah, I mean, overall, it's just really strange that Frank Cho actually got this. I mean, Amadeus Cho, but he's writing, he's drawing. I mean, he's just drawing. Pac is writing. But I mean, I wouldn't mind a female book that Frank Cho would get. That would be nice. But overall, it's been an interesting read. I mean, he's almost done. I think the next issue 5 is only cover done by Frank, and issue 4 is the last issue that he draws. Hopefully his creator stuff will come out sooner or later. But overall, I mean, it's been an interesting sort of book. So yeah, can't wait for the next issue to see how it ends. And there you go. That is it for this week's Comics Time. I hope you like what you got, because it's your money. And as always, if you have any comments, advice, blah, 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 leave it down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And that is it for this week's Comics Time. Out!